The following message is brought to you by Balsamiq. Balsamiq have decided to support the SaaS district community by donating their sponsored airtime to some of our listeners. This episode is sponsored by ProdCamp, a platform that helps you collect user feedback to build what your customers actually need. With ProdCamp, you get an all-in-one product management tool. From listening to customers' feedback to acting upon it with an easier way to prioritize your work. They're even priced per product for people using the solution, not the number of tracked users. If you'd like to start turning user feedback into more revenue for your SaaS company, sign up today at ProdCamp.com. If you'd like to receive a promo code for a 90-day trial of Balsamiq, or even just thank the folks at Balsamiq for supporting our community, visit balsamiq.com/go/SaaS-district today. Hello, everyone. This is your host, Akil Jabbar, and welcome back to another episode of SaaS District. In today's episode, we're back on our special episodes as part of a mini-series for the month, where we interview different team members of a SaaS company to learn their expertise as part of their overall business strategy. On today's mini-series of Inside Balsamiq, we're going to talk about how to do customer interviews and better wireframe development across different time zones. Today we have our guests. We actually have two. We have Alberto Forni and Jessica Orellanes from Balsamiq joining us. So Alberto, we'll start with him. He's a software engineer at Balsamiq, where he works on the Balsamiq Wireframe development. He is passionate about programming, design, user interface, and broadly, he loves everything that has a plug. Jessica is a qualitative user experience researcher at Balsamiq. So after 10 years in communication and digital marketing, she found her real love in UX research. So now that has become her passion and her job. Welcome, Alberto. Welcome, Jessica. Super excited to have you guys on SaaS District Show today.
Thanks. Great to be here.
Yeah, thank you, Akil. Thank you for having me. This is exciting.
Yeah, let's do it. It should be fun. So we'll start with some questions on your side, Jessica. So we'll talk about customer research, which we want to get into, which is when people think about customer research, it's often an overlooked or maybe do it in an automated method, right? Like they'll have a form pop up or some kind of little chat bot. Maybe businesses are not often getting it right to get the details of what really customer thinking. How does maybe Balsamiq do customer research differently, and how do you measure the impact it had on the overall journey?
Okay, so at Balsamiq we have two types of research goals, like understanding the problem we're trying to solve for people, and making sure that the solutions we come up with are right, are implemented well, and are working for people. So this type of research asks for deep understanding of our users, and we believe that the most effective way of gaining that understanding is doing qualitative research. And qualitative research is just collecting and analyzing information that is non-numerical. So we're talking about text, videos, audios, to understand concepts, experiences. And so the methods we currently use are mostly user interviews. We do a lot of observation, usability testing. We also do expert reviews like cognitive walkthroughs, heuristic evaluations. Sometimes we do surveys, and competitive analysis, but not that much. Those are very rare occasions. And we have a completely people-first approach to research. And so far, this has been a reliable source of insights for product development. We don't measure the impact of these efforts. We don't measure anything really. But the signs are there, right? I mean, our team is aligned. People make decisions with confidence, and the audience we decide to support with our product, the audience we decided to support with our product are happy. And so what we're looking for, or what we're aiming for, is for confidence, for clarity, for our developers and our PMs to make decisions every day. And I think we're on the right path there.
And just a quick follow-up question on that. I mean, how often are you doing these? I mean, are you doing, one a day? Are you doing, 5 a day, or is it kind of sporadic? At what point in the journey, is this when they first sign up, or is it a year down the line? Does it depend on, if it's a power user or somebody who's just started? And then my other question on that is, how do you decide, who's the right person that you want to interview?
Yeah. Okay. So about the pace, the thing has evolved and fluctuate because of the pandemics and stuff, but we aim to do at least 5 interviews per week. And then we have time to create reports, to socialize the results. And it gives me also a lot of time. I have a lot of time to think about my practice and how to make it better. And we have a lot of room for improvement, and I have a lot of time to think about it. And I'm very grateful for that. I try to tailor, like we have an approach that is very ad hoc to the project, right? So if we have, for example, recently Alberto developed a new feature called nested symbols. And so we decided to do broad research on that. And so we start with discovery, talking in this case to power users. So the type of project that you are going to work for tells you what type of users you are going to interview, right? And so this is a feature for advanced users. And so we're targeted those. And those are the moments when we apply service to screen the participants that are going to be part of the research. And then there's another type of research that we want to do. We started doing recently, I started last week, which is continuous research. And it is just not wait for the project to, people work on sprints. And then if you start doing research with the sprint, you're already late. So what I'm trying to do is to start before, or even completely disconnected in a different track. So I'll do continuous research. I'll do research all the time. And when people need an information, I probably will have already gathered that information. And so for that type of research, we talk to everyone, people that has just started with the tool, people that has 10 years with the tool, and everything in between.
Got it. Understood. Cool. And Alberto, so, question over to you. So you work on the development team. You manage, the whole kind of development side. What are some strategies maybe you use? We're talking about, communication, between, peers, and then obviously you have to improve the organizational alignment, specifically in remote work, right? You're based in Italy, and then you have teams in the US, and then, different time zones. How are you kind of managing that?
Yeah. So Balsamiq is remote first, async first, maybe like wiki first, and I'm going to stop with something first company. But so the goal, I think, is the idea is that everything is written down in either wireframes or wiki pages, so it's accessible from anyone at any time. And the idea is that we align first on the strategy. So we have a roadmap meeting in which we plan the work to be done in the next quarter or quarters, and this helps getting people on the same page and visualize the company's goals. And then we split the work from an executional point of view. We split the work into projects. And for every project, we have a process to follow. Well, I think it's particular of our organization is that we don't have managers, but instead we have owners in charge of pulling the strings and make sure communication is flowing and people are on the same page. And this role of owner can be passed along the course of projects. And so ultimately there is a shared ownership of the projects. And in these processes, during these projects, we have specific moments for communication and alignment. So, for instance, we have moments in which we let the project sit and we ask for comments. And of course, we iterate on those. And we have also moments for alignment. So we ask for green lights So even if some team member hasn't been directly involved in one of the phases of the project, at least he or she can read the status of the project and can give like the thumbs up, so we can move to the next phase and everyone is again on the same page. We also have what we call the golden hour, which is like a time in which everyone in the company is connected across different time zone. And that is the time we use for interactive activities. And I think this is great is really good for inclusions because, there are people that are great, give their best with quiet time and reflecting. And there are other people that give their best building on others' ideas and with a more interactive and environment and thinking on their feet. Is
that golden hour on a daily basis? Is that weekly basis?
So the golden hour is what we call the time frame for me that I'm in Europe is between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. Okay. And it's like, of course, every day, but we don't necessarily do activities in that time frame. It's just a time frame in which we know that if we want to plan activities, we can, because everyone is connected.
Got it.
So to summarize, I think the most important thing is to write everything down and give time for comments and reserve specific moments for comments and feedback, and iterate on those.
Right. And then just kind of tying back with, what Jessica's doing and what you guys are doing. So when it comes to, product roadmap, right? You're using these, you're trying to develop or think about your product roadmap. You're using, customer research to help you obviously decide what you want to build out, right? So, if there's this feature that's in demand and people are saying, look, we really want this. How do you guys maybe I don't know who's, the real decision making here, but how do you prioritize and decide, okay, this is what we need to focus on for the next quarter, like you said, or, these are the ones that get least? Is it based on, the volume of people, of what people are asking, or maybe it's just a few users you look at, or how do you guys think about that?
I think there is a bit of both. For sure. So we have a great support team and we listen closely to what people say, and what the users need. We have, for instance, a list of the most desired features. And so when we have time, we try to make users happy and pick from those. And then there are other things that we think are important or are great features, and so we put them in, and we ask users for feedback maybe before pushing them out, or maybe Jess can say a bit more. We interview users and ask for their feedback before implementing something like a new feature or something like that.
Sorry. Okay. So we try to make decisions like the decision making happens in the roadmap meetings mostly, but Peldi, who also acts as the company PM, he tries to gather input from everyone basically in the company about the direction that we want to take in the quarter, let's say. But this input comes from, as Alberto said, support, which does a great job at bringing the voice of the customer into the development process. And then he also takes notice of the development resources. We have maybe developers are too busy, or etc. But Peldi also has this metaphor, I think, which is kind of like, I don't know anything about levers or cars, but it's something like he looks at 3 types of things, right? Shorts, bugs, and features. And so that's how he prioritizes things. And if a bug is important to solve to improve the customer experience, so he prioritizes that. And then if we have everything of those shorts and bugs fixed and solved, and there's time for a new feature, then we look also at, like, for example, our product is positioned as a product for non-designers or people that is new to design. And so we try to prioritize features that support the needs of those users. But we also have a very rich community of power users that are very loyal to our tool and that help us a lot with when we need to test something, and they do have their needs and they request features. And so sometimes those are very advanced features, but we want to be also there for them and support their needs. So we also implement some of those features. But maybe I ramble too much, but to give you a more concise answer to that question is from customer research, what we take out to help Pelty prioritize is, of course, getting a deeper understanding of the problems people have. And that helps the team decide what problems we're going to try to solve. And so if there's time, if there's not bugs, if the chores are done, then we have time to do new features.
Got it. Okay. And coming back to, if we're doing customer research, if I'm a SaaS company and I'm looking to start implementing this, and I have all these users, but I've never done, user research or interviewed my customers. Do you have any tips or how you guys do about, starting those conversations? Are you just, picking a list of users and you're just sending out an email saying, hey, I'd like to do some research, and do you have some time to chat this week? Or how does that look like to, get them engaged and interested?
That's how we started.
Okay.
That's how we started. But we'll learn a lot. And so we have some tips that could be helpful. So I think that the most important thing is to start with a clear goal. If you're new to customer research, probably the first thing you want to do is know who your users really are, which means going beyond demographics. Because sometimes we just stop at what role, what age or whatever. And so ideally you will want to go beyond that to really know who are the people that are buying your product, that will potentially buy your product. So start with a clear goal. If you're new, start maybe by trying to find out who your users really are. And the next step is to find your participants, right? If you already have a customer base, you go to them. You could also create a participant profile based on all the assumptions you have about who your customers or potential customers are. And that's a good starting point. I recently read somewhere that you should start with talking with your happiest customers. I think that's really clever. If you're starting with customer research, talking to your happiest customers is a great starting point. And so once you have your participants and your purpose, you want to be prepared. And from here, you have a lot of experience, right? Because you do these interviews, you prepare your script, you prepare your guide, and so you take the time to pick your questions right, and questions that elicit useful responses. So in this sense, you want to be careful about not leading people with your questions, and give them time to respond and elicit deep answers. And for that, you need to ask open-ended questions, not yes and no questions, because that will ruin your interview. And I think the most important thing is just to be prepared to listen.
And are you just send them an email, or do you typically just give them a call and say, "Hey, I'm just doing some interviews here. Do you have some minute here?"
Oh, you want the more practical? Okay, sorry, I went
surprise them. Yeah.
I took another route. Okay, so on the practical side, what we do is when we have our list of participants, we send them emails.
Mhm.
And we also have a forums, we have a Slack community, and we take advantage of that. And so what we do is that we prepare a little survey that in the research world is called a screener, which is a survey that will allow you to understand based on the questions if the person that is signing up is the person you want to talk to, right? So you prepare that screener and you distribute it via email. We do it via email. We post it on the forums. We share it via Slack in our Balsamiq Slack community. And sometimes, just sometimes, we also post it on Twitter. So, yeah, that's what you do. You create a screener to make sure that the people that sign up is the right people that you want to talk to. And then, you distribute it via your channels of preference or where you think those people are.
Got it. And just kind of one last follow-up question around this is, do you have a typical, framework or strategy you use when it comes to, adding value to the interaction you have with these customers? There's certain questions you like to ask to make them feel, valued. Obviously in exchange for their time for that user research, or even beforehand, like before they even agree to the interview, are you offering them something in exchange? Like, hey, we'll give you some, free, credits or, dollar amount to your account, or we'll give you, an Amazon gift card, because I've seen that work before, just to get people, more excited to want to do this and give you the time.
Yeah. Okay. So what we try to do is to, we're always trying to iterate and improve on this. Actually, my colleague, Laura, she's actively working on this all the time, trying to figure out what's the best way to reward our users for their, our participants for their time, because we're really, really grateful for their time. So, but like, I guess the value, the fundamental aspect of the value here is that we're trying to make Balsamiq better for them and for everyone. And people are really, really excited about helping. You don't necessarily need to offer them anything in advance. Actually, we don't do it. We tell them, we might give you a thank you gift. We might not. We will give you a thank you gift, but we never tell them what that gift is. And they participate the same way because people really want to help. People really want to share their expertise. And so I think the most rewarding thing for them is when they see that they really help improve the product. So one thing we do also to show them how we value their participation is, for example, when we ship a feature and the release note, we sometimes add their names, the names of the people that help us figure out that solution that we just implemented. So we add the names of the people, we give them credit publicly for the help. We try also to nurture the relationship. Like, for example, we have the Balsamiq community, and we, all of us are there and interact with them all the time and try to respond quickly to their needs. And so this relationship also encourages them to help us when there's an opportunity. The basic thank you gift that we give everyone is a code to our swag store. So everyone can come to our swag store, and everyone that completes an interview can come to our swag store and claim prize there. Anything. It could be anything. It doesn't matter the price. And additionally to that, the most important thing is that we give back to nonprofits based on the number of participants. So for each participant, we donate $25, I think, to 2 institutions that offer education to disadvantaged people. And so, yeah, that's part of every time a user comes to participate in our research programs, we donate to these institutions on their behalf.
Nice. Yeah, I love kind of how that structure you guys have. I see how you help nonprofits, you help the community, sponsorships, raffles, swag. You have a bunch of stuff of how you give back. So I mean that's fantastic. I know Peldi is a good person to have that built into his business that a lot of people don't think about, right? So
yeah.
Cool. And so thank you for that, Jessica. Alberto, kind of question for you before we get into the rapid fire questions, which is around metrics. I know this is a thing that Balsamiq dislikes. You guys don't like measuring anything. Peldi doesn't want to measure, which drives me crazy. But it is what it is. So I mean, but how do you know? Like from your side, okay, internally, how do you measure some of the metrics? Maybe is monitoring for continuous improvement from not from a metrics number, but from internally that things are getting better.
Yeah, that's a good question because as you said by speaking with Peldi, we don't. Metrics usually means numbers, and we don't collect numbers on user activity. So like where they click, how many projects for how long they work on projects or this kind of things. Mm-hmm. But instead, as Jess said before, we talk with users, and so for us monitoring user activity means having qualitative data, so understanding what they need, how they use our products, how can we improve on things. So these are the kind of things we focus on on our product, and I think that has been it has been like that since the beginning, since Peldi worked actively with users from day one, and so we have users that like a pool of users that collaborate with us more strictly and provide feedback. We might ask them to try features in advance, or we offer them betas. So I think the idea is that we live close to our customers. We have a great support team, and we try to listen as much as like the best that we can to what they need. And that's how we try to improve on things. Maybe that like if we so since I'm a developer, if there is one thing we measure is that when we release a new version of the product for cloud users, for instance, we track new error reports. And so since we have a slow release cycle, so not all the users have the product right away when we release it. If we see that there are like new errors, then we try to actively fix it before the majority of users are impacted by this issue. And so basically, many of them don't even notice that there was a bug. So I think that's still to offer the best user experience possible, right?
Got it. So you're still gathering or getting back, some kind of feedback. In this case, would be bugs, but you're not really, tracking the amount and volume of users' usage and all of the above. Yeah. It's just more of like, okay, how to make the product a little bit better versus how to get this out to more people to get to use it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
It makes you nervous.
It makes me very nervous. So I love data. I mean, that's how we do all our business. Everything's supported by data. So I don't know. Yeah, I know you can do both. I mean, you manually talk. You do need to talk to people and not just focus on data, but I think they can support each other if you do it, the right way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So we'll go into the fun part of the interview, which is the personal kind of rapid fire questions. So we'll start with you, Alberto. So every team member I've spoken to at Balsamiq is all about the pets, and you also have it on your website, except you two. So what's going on? Why don't you have a Balsamiq pet team member, Alberto?
I mean, I'm a dog person, so I would like to have a dog, but so my partner, she is allergic to everything that has fur. So basically, like I can't have anything. But I would love to have a German Shepherd. but I can't.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, you got it. What would you name it?
I like the I don't know, Elon Musk or
Elon Musk, the big shepherd. Nice, I love it. Cool. So you're based in Bologna, right? So obviously known for amazing food. If someone was to come visit Bologna, what would you recommend them as a dish that they must try?
So two of my favorite things is so tortellini with broth, which is like a filled pasta. It's filled with pork. So it's delicious. And I would say another thing that's probably my favorite, actually, which is lasagna. It's probably famous all around the world, like Italian lasagna, but it's actually from Bologna. So
nice. That's awesome. Jessica, how about you? Why don't you have the Balsamiq pet team member at home?
Oh my God. I mean, I think the most I have two things that I want to have a pet, but I'm afraid of having a pet because I have 2 kids, and the logistics and the disaster at the house is just it's not really manageable. I have to confess I lost control of the house. I have to regain it back before getting a pet, and I also have this worry that I love dogs, and if I ever have a pet, it will be a dog. I used to have one when I was a teenager, but I feel like they need space, and I live in an apartment, so I feel like that they will feel a little bit, I don't know, constrained by the space, limited by the space in my apartment. So those are my 2 reasons for not having a pet right now.
No, fair enough. Yeah, I live in a 2-bedroom condo here, and I've got 2 dogs and a daughter. So we're planning to move to a house because I agree with you that you just feel like they need more space and can move around freely. So if you were to adopt a dog or get a dog, what would you name it?
Wow, I will probably not have the honor of naming it. My sons will probably do it.
Okay.
My son is really into football, into soccer right now. Okay. So he will probably name him, I don't know, or her, depending, Messi or Cristiano or something like that. So I think that will probably be he's also into Michael Jackson, so he could take that turn as well.
Messi, Cristiano, or Michael Jackson. Love it. Okay. All good choices. If you were to have a superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh, a superpower. Well, I'm not a really organized person, so I would love to be like this type of people that, like I don't know if it is a superpower, but there's this movie where the guy takes a pill and his mind suddenly is capable of organizing all his thoughts and he thinks clearly and has all these great ideas. I would love to have that superpower. Maybe the power of focus. Maybe that will be the superpowers I will choose, to be able to concentrate and focus.
Yeah, it's a skill that a lot of people lack, and it's hard to develop for sure.
I like that as well. I think it's so when I see my partner is the thing I like the most about her, like in terms of like work related things, is she's able to concentrate so much that she doesn't even hear when you call her. So that's insane. I love that. I would love that superpower.
That's a skill, man. Yes.
Yeah, it's all about the distractions. There's so many distractions these days. It's hard to stay, focused beyond a few minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah. What would you say, when it comes to, the career path? Maybe it's a question for both of you. If somebody's looking to join, your area of work, professionals looking to become a developer, become, UX researcher. Is there any specific skills, whether that's, software, soft skills or hard skills they should be thinking about to develop? Or should be looking to nurture and educate themselves upon if they want to join your team?
I think the most important thing in our job is to be a great learner. I myself had a career change. So I was an accountant before. And so that was like 10 years ago, maybe more. So I think the most important thing is that the joy of learning and the ability and the will to learn new things, that is the most important thing. The most important thing you need to have to do this kind of job.
Would you say the same thing, Jess?
Yeah, of course. And for UX research specifically, you need a lot of listening skills. You need a lot of empathy, especially if you're doing qualitative research. You need that ability of understanding how people is reasoning, and a lot of problem solving skills, which I guess is useful for both things, right? Development and design. So I will say those are like the essential soft skills that you need to get into UX research.
For both of you, what motivates you to keep working so hard? If you guys obviously been there for a few years, what keeps you motivated continuously to work with Balsamiq?
I liked what I'm doing. So I think loving the thing you do every day, it's what motivates you. And one thing that I really like about Balsamiq is that, and motivates me, is that we have a Love Fest channel in which we put all the success story and what happy customers say about our products. And I think feeling connected and feeling that you're helping people with their job, I think it's very rewarding as well.
Nice. How about you, Jessica?
I mean, what motivates me to work hard is first the people, because I love everyone at Balsamiq. It's a pleasure to work with. And the second thing is there's a lot of space and resources and for you to keep learning, keep improving. And that's something that I value a lot. Balsamiq gives you the resources, the time to learn. And that's something I value a lot. And user research, it's a passion for me, not just my job. So the fact that I get to do it here, it's really motivating. So those are the three things that keeps me going, I guess.
Love it. Cool. Well, thank you guys, Alberto. Thank you, Jessica, for joining the SaaS District show today. Anything you guys want to leave for our audience before we wrap this up?
Have a great day.
That's good. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. If you guys want to check it out, thank you, Balsamiq, for introducing you guys and letting you guys be on the podcast. And we'll see you guys later.
Thank you, Akil. Thank you for the opportunity. This was fun. It was my first time. So sorry if you have to edit too much.
No, you guys did great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you all for watching this episode and joining SaaS District today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for future episodes where we interview top leaders in the SaaS industry. If you're a SaaS company looking to grow and unlock the true value of your business, get in touch with us at Horizon Capital, and myself or one of our consultants will provide a free assessment to help you get there and hit your goals. If you have any feedback or suggestions for this podcast, please comment down below and help us improve our content for you all. Thanks again, and see you on the next one.